Rick Harrison, the star of the reality TV show Pawn Stars, has had an extraordinary journey, growing from a small pawn shop owner in Las Vegas to becoming a well-known entrepreneur. However, his life took an unforeseen and dramatic turn when he was sentenced to life in prison in a shocking case. Once a symbol of success and credibility in the pawn shop industry, Rick now finds himself facing serious allegations, raising questions about the fragility of luck and the temptations that often accompany fame. This is the story of the sudden downfall of a public figure, leaving not only his fans, but also the reality TV community in shock. If you're a fan of Pawn Stars and have cherished the stories Rick Harrison has shared over the years, now is the time to show your support. Leave an encouraging message or share your favorite moments from the show in the comments below this video. Hit the like button and share the video to spread love and support to Rick and his family. Every word of encouragement can be a source of strength to help Rick overcome this challenge. Don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on the latest developments in this story. See you in the next one. Richard Kevin Harrison, a renowned American entrepreneur and television personality, was born on March 22, 1965, in Lexington, North Carolina. At the age of 2, he moved with his family to San Diego, California, where he spent most of his childhood. Diagnosed with epilepsy at the age of 8, Rick spent much of his time reading books, which helped him develop a deep historical knowledge. This knowledge would later prove to be a valuable asset in his career. Rick's childhood was far from easy. His battle with epilepsy led to frequent school absences, and he eventually dropped out in his sophomore year of high school. However, this setback did not diminish his ambition or thirst for knowledge. Instead, he committed himself to self-learning, devouring books across various fields, particularly history and business. This self-taught approach later became evident in his vast encyclopedic knowledge, which was prominently featured on Pawn Stars. As a teenager, Rick began working with his father on various business projects, honing a sharp eye for value and authenticity, skills that would later be crucial in his career. At 17, Rick's girlfriend, Kim, became pregnant, leading them to marry. The couple eventually had 2 sons, Corey and Adam, before divorcing after 8 years of marriage. In 1981, Rick's family moved to Las Vegas, Nevada, where his father, Richard Benjamin Harrison, known as the Old Man, opened a gold and silver store. The business eventually evolved into the world-famous gold and silver pawn shop in 1989, which would later become the setting for Pawn Stars. The shift from a coin shop to a pawn shop was a strategic move, as the Harrisons saw the potential for higher profits in the pawn industry. The early years were tough, with Rick and his father working long hours to establish a reputation in Las Vegas. Rick often found himself dealing with difficult customers and, at times, navigating dangerous situations. The experiences that shaped him and honed his negotiation skills made Rick a well-known figure in Las Vegas by the early 2000s, thanks to his expertise in various collectibles and historical items. The pawn shop gained fame as a destination where rare and valuable items could be found, attracting both locals and tourists. Recognizing the entertainment potential of his business, Rick began pitching the idea of a reality TV show based on the daily operations of his pawn shop. After years of rejections and persistent efforts, Rick finally signed a contract with the History Channel in 2009 for Pawn Stars. Premiering to follow the daily operations of the gold and silver pawn shop, the show featured Rick, his son Corey Big Hoss Harrison, his father, the wealthy old man Harrison, and their friend Austin Chumley Russell, as they assessed items for historical significance and questionable value. The show became an instant hit, transforming Rick from a local pawn shop owner into a television star. His straightforward style, deep knowledge of historical artifacts, and memorable catchphrases made him a fan favorite, with his signature quotes resonating with viewers. "The best thing I can do is become a symbol," he said, as he negotiated with customers wanting to sell their treasures. What set Pawn Stars apart from other reality TV shows was the educational aspect that Rick emphasized. Each episode featured historical information about the items brought into the shop, with Rick often providing detailed context, showcasing his vast knowledge. This approach attracted a broad audience, making the show one of the most successful programs on the History Channel. Under Rick's leadership, the pawn shop expanded its operations, drawing tourists from around the world who hoped for a glimpse of the stars or even a chance to appear on an episode. Merchandise sales skyrocketed, and Rick capitalized on his fame by writing books, making personal appearances, and even opening a successful restaurant. Pawn Stars propelled Rick to new heights in the realm of fame as he appeared on numerous talk shows, was featured in magazines, and became a sought-after speaker at business events. His story about wealth resonated with many Americans, and his straightforward business advice earned him respect beyond the entertainment industry. As the face of Pawn Stars, Rick became known for his business acumen and no-nonsense approach. He was the voice of reason on the show, frequently reining in his son Corey's ambitious purchases or Chumley's occasional antics, while also managing his relationship with his father. The old man demonstrated mutual respect, built over years of working together. When his father passed away in 2018, Rick showed his commitment to honoring his legacy by continuing to run the business according to the same principles. Rick's personal life during the height of Pawn Stars fame had its ups and downs. After his first marriage ended, he married Tracy Harrison, and they were together for 27 years before divorcing in 2011. In 2013, Rick married Deanna in a ceremony officiated by counting. His co-star on Pawn Stars, Danny Coker, along with Chumley, plays the role of the ring keeper. Danny's family life is mostly kept private, though it occasionally comes up in discussions on the show, revealing a man devoted to his family despite the demands of fame and business. Rick expanded his business ventures beyond the pawn shop, opening Rick's Rollin' Smoke BBQ and Tavern at Pawn Plaza, located next to the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop. He also co-authored a licensed book in 2011 titled Steals and My Life at the Gold and Silver, which detailed his life and business experiences. Rick's philosophy has always been entrepreneurial, constantly seeking new opportunities to grow his brand and expand his business empire. Throughout his career, Rick has demonstrated an exceptional ability to spot value where others might overlook it. On Pawn Stars, viewers watch as he evaluates items ranging from historical documents to classic cars, ancient artifacts to modern collectibles. His expertise appears boundless, though he often consults experts when items fall outside his area of knowledge, showing a cautious entrepreneur who understands the limits of his own expertise. Rick has bought and sold numerous items on the show, some of which were great deals, while others weren't as profitable. His expertise in watches, guns, and U.S. historical items often leads to successful transactions, turning modest investments into significant profits for the shop. One of his most famous purchases was a Super Bowl ring from the 2001 New England Patriots, which he bought for $20,600 and later had appraised for a much higher value. Another notable purchase was a collection of Spanish gold doubloons recovered from a 1715 shipwreck, reflecting his deep passion for both history and valuable treasures. Speaking of the good, Rick's life has also faced many less than pleasant experiences, largely due to the honest choices he's made. In 2023, his legal troubles began when federal agents raided his home in Las Vegas as part of an investigation that had been ongoing for months. Initially, the public was unaware of the nature of the investigation, sparking widespread speculation online. The raid completely shocked fans and even those close to Rick. FBI agents, along with IRS investigators and representatives from the Department of Cultural Heritage Protection, executed search warrants at Rick's home and the gold and silver pawn shop. Employees and customers present during the raid at the shop were temporarily detained, while agents seized computers, documents, and several items from the store's inventory. Rick's son, Corey, who was at the shop during the raid, later described the scene as surreal, almost like something out of a movie. According to witnesses, Rick remained calm as the agents escorted him out of his house, staying composed even as neighbors recorded the moment on their mobile phones. The footage quickly spread across social media, and as more details emerged, it became clear that authorities were investigating allegations of a sophisticated tax evasion scheme, money laundering activities involving high-value items passing through the pawn shop, and complaints about dealing in illegally obtained artifacts. The investigation was clearly triggered by flagged transactions from financial institutions and complaints from former business partners. In the weeks following the raid, the History Channel suspended the production of Pawn Stars and issued a brief statement saying they were monitoring the situation and would make an appropriate decision once more information became available. The gold and silver pawn shop remained open, though there were significantly fewer customers due to the legal cloud hanging over the business. Rick's influence on the business began to wane. Rick's representatives issued a strong denial regarding the allegations, asserting his commitment to the business. Leave an encouraging message and share your story about the moments Rick has brought you joy and inspiration. Together, we can help Rick and his family overcome this challenge. Don't forget to hit the like button, share this video, and invite your friends to join. Every small action brings great strength. Subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for the latest updates on this story. Thank you for your support. Rick's representatives issued a strong denial of any wrongdoing, describing the investigation as a misunderstanding that would soon be cleared up. His attorney, David Marshall, a well-known lawyer in Las Vegas, recognized for representing high-profile clients, assured the public that Rick had always run his business honestly and complied with all applicable laws. However, as the investigation progressed, troubling details began to surface. Authorities claimed they had found evidence suggesting Rick was involved in a complex scheme to undervalue certain historical artifacts for tax purposes. Authorities accused Rick of selling the artifacts through private channels at their true market value. They also alleged that he had knowingly purchased stolen historical items through intermediaries, including significant documents and artifacts that were taken from museums and private collections, according to court documents later revealed. The investigation was partly sparked by a former employee who had worked with Rick in acquiring some of these valuable items. The whistleblower provided authorities with detailed information about a separate accounting system that Rick allegedly used to keep certain transactions hidden from official records. Rick was arrested but released on bail the next day and was scheduled to appear in court a few days later. He faced multiple serious charges, including tax evasion, money laundering, trafficking in stolen property, and conspiracy to traffic in illegally obtained cultural artifacts. His attorney, David Marshall, confirmed that Rick strongly denied all the allegations and intended to fight them in court. The legal battle that followed lasted nearly a year, with Rick steadfastly maintaining his innocence throughout the proceedings. However, as more evidence came to light and former associates testified against him, his position became increasingly fragile. The prosecution presented financial records, encrypted messages, and testimonies from former employees who claimed Rick had instructed them to alter documents for certain high-value items. They also revealed evidence that he had set up offshore accounts to hide profits from particularly valuable transactions. One key piece of evidence was a series of text messages between Rick and an unidentified supplier, discussing how to remove the provenance from an 18th-century document believed to have been stolen from a university archive. In another exchange, Rick was allegedly discussing how to structure a sale to avoid triggering reporting requirements for large cash transactions. Throughout the pre-trial proceedings, Rick's public persona remained defiant. He made several appearances on conservative talk shows, claiming that he was being unfairly targeted because of his political views and his success. His supporters rallied around him, creating #FreeRick hashtags and organizing protests outside the courthouse during hearings. Rick's downfall shocked many, as he went from being seen as a knowledgeable, straightforward businessman on Pawn Stars to someone accused of violating the law. The release of the Pawn Stars Rick Harrison arrest report revealed a much more calculating side than most had expected. His legal troubles exposed another facet of his character, and the surprises didn't stop there. While many quickly judged Rick based on media reports, it's important to remember that everyone deserves empathy during their most challenging times. Many loyal fans have organized support groups on social media, emphasizing that regardless of the allegations, Rick's positive impact on their lives through his educational approach on Pawn Stars deserves recognition. "Rick taught me to love history in a way school never could," one supporter expressed. "Now it's our turn to show him that we haven't forgotten the good he's done." The courtroom fell silent as the verdict was read. Rick, who had remained calm throughout the trial, visibly paled. His son, Corey, sat behind him, resting his head in his hands, while Chumley, who had attended every day of the trial and was supported by a mentor, quickly left the courtroom, deeply emotional. The verdict shocked legal experts, many of whom felt that the sentence was disproportionate to the crime committed. However, the judge emphasized that the sentence not only reflected the financial crimes, but also the irreplaceable damage to historical and cultural heritage caused by Rick's involvement in the trafficking of looted artifacts. The judge addressed Mr. Harrison during sentencing. "You presented yourself to the American people as a guardian of history, someone who appreciates the significance of artifacts and their role in our shared heritage," the judge began. "But in truth, you were complicit in looting and systematically dismantling irreplaceable cultural sites for your own benefit. The gravity of these actions cannot be ignored by this court." In the days after the sentencing, Rick's legal team swiftly filed an appeal, arguing that the sentence was excessive and unconstitutional, citing the non-violent nature of the crime. They also requested bail for Rick while awaiting the appeal, but the request was denied. This led to images of Rick in handcuffs dominating news and social media. Reactions to his conviction were divided. Longtime fans, in particular, expressed shock, believing there had been a grave error in the trial. Others, especially within the academic and cultural heritage sectors, saw the harsh sentence as a crucial step in deterring the trafficking of looted artifacts. Meanwhile, Rick's situation ignited an extraordinary wave of support among his fans. The Hearts for Harrison campaign garnered over 100,000 petition signatures, urging a review of his case. Supporters emphasized that the sentence was disproportionate compared to similar cases. "We're not saying he shouldn't face consequences for breaking the law," the campaign organizer clarified. Melissa Jenkins stated, "We're not arguing that Rick shouldn't face consequences, but a life sentence for a non-violent crime is more about revenge than justice. If you believe he deserves a second chance, please add your name to the petition or donate to his legal defense fund. Even a small contribution can help provide the resources needed for a strong appeal. Every prayer, every supportive message, and every dollar counts toward his fight for justice." Corey spoke out, saying, "My father made a mistake, but he doesn't deserve to die in prison. He deserves a chance to make things right." Meanwhile, the History Channel swiftly distanced itself from Rick, officially canceling Pawn Stars and pulling reruns from its broadcast schedule. In a statement, the channel expressed deep disappointment in Rick's actions and reaffirmed its dedication to respecting historical artifacts and cultural heritage, maintaining a commitment to legality despite his legal issues. Rick's influence on the reality TV landscape and the pawn industry remains profound. Prior to his legal troubles, he built a thriving business empire that extended well beyond the pawn shop. His entrepreneurial drive led him to open multiple restaurants and bars in Las Vegas, with ambitions to expand to other cities. The Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, now run by his son Corey Harrison, continues to draw tourists in Las Vegas, though visitor numbers have declined since Rick's legal issues surfaced. Rick's sentence prompted Corey to focus on rebranding the shop, prioritizing transparency in all transactions and partnering with museums and educational institutions to advocate for ethical collecting practices. In an emotional interview 6 months after his father's sentencing, Corey opened up about the difficulties of preserving the family business while addressing the valid concerns raised during the trial. "We've put in place new, stricter protocols to verify the provenance of every item we purchase," he shared. "What happened was wrong, and we are committed to being part of the solution, not the problem," Corey stated. Chumley, who had always seen Rick as a mentor and father figure, openly discussed his conflicting feelings. "I've learned so much from Rick, especially the good business practices that I'll carry with me forever," he shared in a podcast interview. "But I have to accept that there's another side to him that I hadn't seen, or maybe didn't want to see." The Harrison family has faced challenging times, but their focus remains on rebuilding their reputation and business while supporting Rick through the appeals process. Corey, now fully in charge of the family business, has shown surprising business acumen, especially given his role as Rick's occasionally impulsive son on the show. The family has been deeply touched by the outpouring of love and support from fans worldwide. "Your encouraging messages have been a lifeline for our father," Corey said in a recent press statement. "I've read every letter sent to me and drawn strength from knowing that so many people still believe in me, despite everything," Rick shared. "I need your support now more than ever." The family has been holding prayer circles every Sunday outside the pawn shop, where loyal fans come together to show their solidarity. If you can't make it to Las Vegas, the family encourages supporters to send letters, cards, or even photos of memorable moments from the show that brought joy to viewers. These small gestures mean the world to a man facing his darkest hour. My dad taught me everything I know about this business, Corey said in a recent interview. The good parts of that education are what I'm trying to build on. We've made some huge mistakes, but this shop has been a part of Las Vegas for over 30 years, and I'm determined to make sure it's here for another 30 years. Rick's journey has been nothing short of extraordinary, starting as a small pawn shop owner, rising to reality TV star and entrepreneur, and now facing the consequences of his actions with a life sentence. Rick's transformation from a respected businessman to a disgraced public figure serves as a stark reminder of how quickly fortune can change, especially under the harsh glare of fame. Cultural commentators have drawn comparisons to a Shakespearean tragedy, noting that a man with vast knowledge of history ultimately allowed his passion for artifacts to lead to his own downfall. His story has become a cautionary tale about the dangers of success, the temptations that come with it, and the fine line between shrewd business practices and criminal behavior. As this story continues to unfold, we'll keep you updated on all the latest developments in this unprecedented case that has shaken the reality TV world and left a family business fighting for survival without its charismatic leader. Rick Harrison needs all the support he can get. If you're a Pawn Stars fan and appreciate what Rick has contributed to television over the years, consider sending prayers, positive thoughts, and words of encouragement his way. The Harrison family has created a website where supporters can leave messages that will be forwarded to Rick in prison. Your kind words can truly make a difference during this difficult time in Rick's life. The address for sending support letters is available on the website, with the family emphasizing that hearing from fans is Rick's primary source of strength throughout this ordeal. As a family statement shared, Rick has always appreciated the Pawn Stars viewers more than ever, knowing that when you are still in his corner, it means the world to him. See you in the next videos.